Today I'm showing you an updated best build for the Devastator after some recent changes and nerfs have been made to the game. Now to all my subscribers, I just want to apologize for this video being a little bit late. I know I said I'd get it up yesterday, the day before. I've just been very busy and I'm getting it up now. And for everyone, let's get right into the build. So to start off with, you're going to be running this shotgun with Fortress, which you take off the Death Shield. And then you're going to be putting Moaning Winds, which you get off this shotgun on the Death Shield. And then running Bolt and Thunder or any other pistol. I like this one because it has the 1.8 second reload, and putting Moaning Winds on that. If you're not familiar with the strategy of rotating shotguns and using Moaning Winds, I will have in the very near future, if not already when you're watching this, a gameplay video linked in the description that you can check out. So on to the mods. We're going to be running Captain Hunter and Bloodshock. Earthquake inflicts bleed, extra damage against elites. Then we're going to be running Golem Squad. Now this is a recent change because now the Golem has actually been patched. This is highly useful for your team and slightly useful for you. You need to bleed out as many things as possible to make you invincible and also to increase the damage for when you use Moaning Winds. This gives you longer duration, and you're going to be using this so many times throughout any expedition that you're giving Golem to your team like dozen plus times. I have not counted how many times, but it's a low cooldown. So you're going to be using Golem a lot, and that's really useful for your team. Next up, we have Earthquake increases range. Now this is semi-useful, but it allows you to bleed out so much, and you can just like throw one earthquake down, roll forward, throw another earthquake down, hit enemies even further back. It actually is useful. I bleed out so many enemies with that increased range because it's 60% off already substantial range. Next up, we're going to be running the increased damage on bleeding enemies and bleeding impulse, because bleeding impulse is actually really good too because it bleeds out all enemies within a 10-meter radius, and our Moaning Winds works within 8. So it's bleeding out every enemy that we possibly could do damage on with the Moaning Winds at that point in time. Now, ideally, for the optimal build, you would not run the Seismic Commander Gloves. You would actually use a epic set with Anomaly, Status, and Cooldown, and you would still be running these two perks. Using this skill permanently reduces the armor of afflicted enemies by 20%. Now, that actually stacks. So if you hit a elite 5 times with an earthquake, or you hit a group of enemies 5 times with an earthquake, most likely the mob is going to be dead. But that elite will have 0 armor. So you can remove 20% of everything that you hit with each use. So that is actually highly useful. Great for you, great for the team. Really good mod. Next up, we're going to be taking obviously another earthquake. And obviously another earthquake. And then finally, we have more damage to bleeding enemies. So on to the skills. Only 2 skills here are actually matter. Earthquake and Golem. This is a bleed earthquake build. The third mod is actually your choice. So while the build doesn't allow for you to have any mods for the skill that you choose, you do get to pick whatever skill you want. And that is actually why I chose Tremor, because this just makes you completely invincible pretty much. I can't even come close to down when I'm using it. So in those moments of time when it does get a little bit hectic and I'm actually taking like damage that's bringing my health bar down to half or whatever, or I just want to become a god for a second, or I just want to spam the ability, it also gives me 50,000 armor when I use it. So it's got a moderately short cooldown. And after using Golem and then using Tremor, it's doing decent damage. Like, you're still going to put up the same damage numbers you do as Tremor as if you were use basically anything else as your other one. I know a lot of you like Endless Mass. That skill, just pick whatever you want. What really matters is Golem and Earthquake, and the other one is whatever you want. Gravity Leap is really good to close the gap. Personally, I do like Gravity Leap a lot too. It's really fun to use. So onto the skill tree. We have anomaly power, reduce seismic cooldown, increased anomaly power, and we're going to take this for the reduced protection so we can bleed out more enemies and give Golem to our team more frequently. Then we have increased resistance piercing, increased anomaly power, more reduced cooldown, increased bleed duration, sorry I cannot talk right now, increased anomaly damage, Executioner just because there's not really much else you can use at this point. So took Executioner, more damage. Increased bleed duration by 30%. More anomaly power. Bleed inflicted on enemies deals 30% more damage. You are healed for bleed, which is basically what makes you invincible when you play smart. Increase your skill leech. Increase your armor bonus. Increase your armor and resistances when your skill ends. So when you spam 3 earthquakes, you're instantly getting 60% more armor, which is really sweet. Increase your resistance piercing by 15%. Bleed afflicted on enemies deals 30% more damage. And increase the seismic skills base damage by 50%, which is another reason I went with the tremor. I mean, I would probably use the gravity leap a lot too. I do like the gravity leap. But I like the invincibility and it does do damage, so I was just messing around with this, and I really do like you truly become invincible for a few seconds when you use it. But that is my updated best build for the Devastator after the recent changes to the game. I hope that helps.